We go, Drain Plug Mafia.
Lots of new boaters watch this channel, and I get asked all the time by these guys, what's the biggest piece of advice I would give a new boater? And it's always the same answer, boat smart, because you never know when a situation like we just saw will turn into a situation just like this. And let's talk a little about this today. Welcome back, guys, to this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. Now, what do we mean when we say boat smart? It might have a little different meaning to everybody, but the way I look at boating smart is not putting yourself in a situation in boating where you look back and think, why did I do that? In other words, if you've asked yourself that question, that means you knew better than to do what you were doing. But you got distracted. You let other things pull you away from your focus of boating safely out on the water. Now, I know what most of you are thinking as I say this. Well, BG, that sounds simple. But for whatever reason, it absolutely is not. It is proven over and over again, week after week, when we see things going on the water that leave us scratching our heads, wondering why or how they did that. Now, you know, if we look at the situation and do that, the people on the boat likely feel the exact same way. I mean, with today's advanced technologies, even smartphones, there's no reason to find yourself in some of the situations people find themselves in, such as this one here. This is a nice boat. You know it's got electronics on it showing them where the shallow water is. And even your cell phone nowadays, you can download tools like Navionics that will show you these things. And if you're going to get out there and boat, please understand the tides. These are all basic things that every boater should understand. And of course, I've never seen a boater stuck on a sandbar or a beach sitting there saying, oh man, I can't believe this happened. In the end, they're almost always thinking, wow, I can't believe I did that. Now, sandbars do have a partial excuse. We typically can't see them, but these ones even boggle my mind more, and definitely are the definition of not boating smart. I mean, we all know boats have a height. And this comes back to that situation of really just not paying attention to what we're doing, not boating smart, whether we're on land or the water. It goes both ways. I've seen this happen a ton, on the water and off the water, where people try and navigate low-hung bridges and think, oh, we'll be fine, we'll just make it, or they're just really not paying attention. Maybe they're texting, maybe they're paying attention to the girls in the bathing suits on the boat. But whatever the distraction is, this really brings us back to that definition of boating smart. Very rarely, if ever, will you not find somebody after one of these situations sitting there pondering, thinking, I can't believe I just did that. There's not much else they can blame it on. Now, one of the main reasons I tell people the advice I give is to boat smart is because accidents are going to happen on the water that have nothing to do with boating smart. People will see situations like this all the time and think it's just a rookie boater, but that is not always the case. Most of the time when I see incidents like that, if you really go back and try and discover what happened, it was a true accident. Something happened. Somebody slipped and fell, somebody knocked the throttle on accident, and that causes these scenes a lot more often than not. So of course, boating smart is not going to eliminate every accident out on the water. I mean, stuff's just gonna happen, but if you play it safe and boat smart, hopefully you can help eliminate some of the silly incidents that occur out on the water. One key thing you can do to help yourself boat a little smarter is go ahead and create a checklist. A lot of times, some of the silly mistakes that cause incidents to occur on the water happen right up front or right at the end of your boating day, and it's because you don't really have a full checklist. You kind of go by memory on the things you need to do to your boat before you depart the vessel. But if you have a physical checklist, you can check down those list of items and make sure everything's done to help you be as safe as you possibly can. And then the other thing about boating smart, just don't do things you know you're not supposed to do. I mean, how often do we see people out on the water doing things on boats and all we think in our head is, you know better, but they're doing it anyway. And one thing I think people often forget when we talk about boating smart is that as a captain, it's your responsibility to keep everybody safe on the water. Anybody who's on your boat is your responsibility as well. So if somebody's on your boat doing something they shouldn't be doing and you don't stop them, that is your fault and you can be held liable. And then of course there are those video clips we get sent that are just beyond explanation. Doing things that we know nobody in their right mind would ever think was a good idea, but most of those I still firmly believe are set up. Kind of like this one here. I mean, this guy thought they were so good they could pull this move off, and then he didn't last 4 seconds on the wave. And then of course his buddy can't even get back to the boat, but if you were really going to try something like this, you would have the skills probably to pull this off. And then of course, there's never an end to the video. I mean, supposedly there's nobody on the boat now, but somehow somebody stops the camera. Always makes you wonder. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening out on your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Brandon Matheson, BroBrew16, PNW Jet Boats, Captain for Hire, Chad Bruner, Daniel Hay, Badass Bass Fishing, Justin on the Bird, Cross 5224, Marina Boys 1, Mark Girardou, Matcham Ward, Nicole Check, Sam Stiles, and Wesley Aker did this week. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.